Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We got it! We got
New 52 booklet.
it! Somebody clip this.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Under Two Capes, the only show that knows that Lois Lane is Lois Lame. I'm Jared, and I'm here with Taladia Plays and Jay Heat. What's up, gentlemen?
Flame on. How's everybody doing? Great to be here, Jared. How you doing?
Doing
Not
pretty
much,
well.
right?
So today is the first episode of 2024. So I decided let's go through some of the stuff that's coming out in 2024. Talk about if we're excited for it, if we're not excited for it. So let's start with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now,
Oh yes.
now here's the thing about it. As soon as those leaks were refuted, I immediately went back to being hyped for this game. And I'm like, because they describe it as a more open world version of Arkham Knight. And I'm like, that game was already super open world. And if you can double that with a co-op component and you're fighting the Justice League, that's pretty cool. What do you think, Taladia?
Well, I already spoke to Miller, right? Who he's a great dude.
Mhm.
He did an article about Suicide Squad, and I was just like, yes, I'm interested. And didn't look at everything, just the certain things that to debunk some of the other stuff that needed to be debunked. And it got me hyped and very excited to play the game early, which is on the 31st, because we get 72 hours early.
Yeah, we'll probably just end up marathoning the whole damn thing. What about you, Jay Heat?
As for me, I'm very interested in the game. It could go either way, but I will have to comment on how, and you're probably going to have to edit this out when I say this,
Don't
but
watch yourself, Jay Heat. Watch yourself.
how the new design for Poison Ivy kind of looks like that young activist,
It looks kind of
the "How dare you" meme.
no, but here's the thing. That's fine. It's Harley's response that I'm not sure sits right with me.
How about you have a seat, Carly?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I promise we are going to edit that out.
No, it's fine. I'll keep that in. That's fine. But I mean, yeah, but the thing is, they have done like Poison Ivy Rebirth. The problem is when they rebirthed Ivy in the past in the comics. I know that sounds really weird, but I'm just sticking with it.
It's happened before.
Like in Heroes in Crisis, this is the one time I'm going to mention that she comes back as a fully grown plant woman.
Roll the clip.
No, I'm not doing that. No, it's my show, J.E. But the thing about it is, and again, I get what they're going for. Harley's response is really what doesn't sit well with me, which she refers to her as in the fun size. So I'm like, even though it sounds very much like something Harley would say,
Poor choice of words.
very poor choice of words. But besides that, I like the idea of I like the overall premise of the game. The gameplay looks okay. It's not like the most exciting thing. But the thing about it is that when people are like comparing it to Arkham Knight, and I'm like, okay, it's a different type of game, different type of genre. You can't. It's more. They're going more of a co-op side of it. And this is the first time in Arkham they're actually doing a full-on co-op game, I believe. Correct, Eladia?
Yeah, this is the first time this is a fully co-op experience, online co-op.
Yeah, and I think executed properly, this can go well. Honestly, what the reception of the game is riding on their post-launch content, which is why I'm really excited, anticipating the next Insider drop, because they're going to talk about the post-launch content, because then we can find out and get a little more hints of like, okay, are we going to bring back characters from the main campaign? In which case we kind of know that maybe the Justice League will come back. Or it's like, how supported is it going to look? Because here's the thing, even if the game is fantastic, if you don't have good post-launch content, as Halo Infinite
We don't talk about that.
No, yes, we do. It's my show. If the way Halo Infinite learn, you're gonna have issues. And Halo Infinite, like as far as I'm concerned, has had a pretty epic redemption arc, but Suicide Squad doesn't have that luxury.
Think about it like this: Suicide Squad Killer Justice League is going down the same route as the Avengers game was, right?
Right.
Okay, now I'm gonna play the clip.
Just make that clear. Production-wise.
Now I'm gonna play the clip.
Why did you say that name?
That is fair.
Production-wise, but still, it's like I still believe in this game because I still think that this game will do well, in terms of story and in terms of how much hours I can get out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm picking it up, getting the deluxe edition, because I can get 72 hours out of it easily.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it all depends on what that, because arguably the upcoming Insiders episode is the most important one, because that can make or break a game. Am I correct? The post-launch content can make or break a game that's marketed as a live service.
Yes.
You're right. You're right. So if the post content is good and is really good, then people will pick it up. It's simple as.
Yeah.
But if they promise on something and they don't deliver, then
That's going to be issues.
That's going to be issues for the studio and for the publisher.
Because here's the thing, Rocksteady has a pretty stellar reputation. That's the other reason why I have a little bit of faith, because it's Rocksteady. They have yet to deliver a subpar DC experience. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll give it another shot. If it's bad, hey, I'm going to call it out. If it's great, then I'm going to be doubly as happy. Now, the other thing, so I think that's like a good in terms of talking about Justice League. The next thing that I want to talk about is let's transition to the movie side of it a little bit.
Oh,
Madam Web.
Flop.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't see this movie doing well. I just don't.
It's the comic book versions of 50 Shades of Grey.
Ha! That's great. I love that.
You're gonna get us demonetized, Taladia. Jesus.
No. Just saying 50 Shades of Grey does not get us demonetized, but that is so good. It has one of the actors from 50 Shades of Grey in it.
That's why I said the pun.
Here's the problem. With most of Sony's Marvel movies that they've released, short of Spider-Verse, the number one question that always comes in my mind whenever they like announce these movies is, why? Do we need a Madam Web movie when here's a really key thing, ladies and gents, we don't have a Spider-Man in this universe. Same as why Morbius was an issue.
It's Morbin time. You set me up perfectly.
Where is it? Oh, here we go.
Dweeb.
Regret nothing.
What do you guys think of Madam Web? This time I'll start with Jay Heat.
Okay, in all seriousness, this has the potential, if you actually did make this a de facto live-action Spider-Verse movie, because Madam Web does play a role in Spider-Verse stories to a degree, but ultimately, I just don't see Sony sticking the landing with this one. I'm usually confident with Sony's projects for the most part.
Morbius.
But I see this one being a dud. I really do.
What about you, Taladia? You think this one's going to do Flash numbers?
Oh, it's going to be worse than Flash numbers.
I mean, it's going to be Marvel's?
Yeah, Marvel numbers.
Probably. I see. Here's the thing. In a time when there's already people like tired of superhero movies, or more accurately, just tired of bad movies, and it's not going to turn out. I don't think that, because the problem with this movie is that nothing we've seen so far has really excited me in terms of like, oh my gosh, this is so, I can't wait to see this. It's just like, Yeah, it's coming out. The one movie that I want to see that's coming out that we're going to transition to is Venom 3. That I'm excited for.
Oh yes, for good
Because
reason too.
yeah, I like the first two movies. I feel like the second one should have been longer and they shouldn't have killed off Carnage, but that's just me. Now, let me ask you this. Since we don't know who the villain is, who do you think the villain for Venom 3 is?
Scream.
Didn't she?
Too obvious.
I think was Scream the one who died? Oh no, that was Shriek. I think.
No, I'm talking about Scream, the symbiote Scream.
No, I know. I guess they
I think you're
could.
confusing her with Shriek because they are similar.
But here's the thing, Taladia. We've already had two villains where it's symbiote versus symbiote. Maybe we should do something different.
Like
Craven the Hunter.
Craven.
Now, Craven could work. This is what they build with Craven. That could actually work really well.
No, but they're doing a Craven the Hunter movie, though. Think about it.
Yeah, and then it crosses. Oh, wait, which comes out first?
I want to say Craven comes out first.
I'm looking it up right now. Craven the Hunter comes out in August 30th, and Venom 3 release date. Venom 3 comes out so far November 8th.
Oh, I was wrong then.
No, Craven comes out first. So what that looks like is that the post-credit scene could tease of like Craven getting broken out of prison by like Vulture and Morby, and then they go, "Hey, we're gonna hunt down this other creature that is like this black goo monster." And then they show like a security camera, like a CCTV thing of Venom from 1 or 2 or anything like that. That's what they could do, and that's what Venom 3 is.
I can see it.
Because they could really... now, what do you think the odds are that Spider-Man shows up in Venom 3?
Technically, Sony does own the movie rights. They're just an exclusive deal with Marvel, with Disney via Marvel Studios for MCU purposes. But if Tom Holland doesn't do another film, or the contract doesn't, or the deal itself doesn't get extended, I could definitely see Andrew Garfield Spider-Man coming in, or at the very least making a cameo.
I was about to say, because Nick has said in the past that there's enough like links to the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in like Morbius and Venom, and we already know that they kind of exist together, Morbius and Venom, because in Morbius they reference Venom a couple of times, so that could be really fun. Or here's the villain. You ready? Null, God of the Symbiotes.
You have to build up to that, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate the ambition, but you have to build up to that.
You have to build up for Null God.
Yeah, I guess if they had like the characters with like the spiral and they like flashed into Null, that they could have done that. Dang it, because I want a King in Black movie. I think that'd be really cool.
And really, you could make Andrew Garfield Spider-Man work, because even in No Way Home, spoilers for a 3-year-old movie, but Andrew Garfield's version of Peter openly admitted he stopped pulling his punches after Gwen died. Because
so
in
you
the
could say he got the black suit.
I walked right into that, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you did.
Speaking of dope suits, here's one I know we're all looking forward to: Deadpool 3.
Oh yes, Deadpool.
The return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in the yellow and blue suit, and Marsden is coming back as Cyclops in the 90s suit.
And
X-Men 97.
and we're gonna get copyrighted.
Yeah. Yeah, just edit this out in post.
Nah, I'm good. And then, so now let me ask you guys this: what other cameos do you think are showing up? Because we are pretty sure about Elektra. We know obviously the X-Men. We know. I don't think Ben Affleck is showing up as Daredevil in this, because even he said he wasn't asked.
What about Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man?
A Spider-Man, that'd be kind of cool because
Save it
Spider-Man
for
and
Secret
Deadpool are so.
Wars.
What?
Because go on.
Save it for Secret Wars. I feel like a Tobey Maguire cameo would be better saved for Secret Wars.
No, but the reason why I say that is because Kevin Feige has now said that everything prior to when the No Way Home event happened, everything is canon now.
Well, yeah, and they could do that. It all depends. Let me put it this way: if Deadpool shows up in the MCU at one point, Tom Holland is going to be the Spider-Man in the universe. So maybe Tom Holland shows up. I don't know.
Maybe Tom Holland, but I doubt it. I mean,
I got one. This is going to really blow your guys' mind. Eric Bana Hulk.
that's not a bad shout, actually.
I'm telling you, that would be. And then they do the thing where, like, the other screen shows up like a comic book panel, and then Deadpool goes, "What is with these panel things? It's dizzying."
Well, what about? Oh, I got a good one. What about they bring the return of Edward Norton Hulk?
That would be the best. Oh my gosh. Did you guys see the meme, speaking of recast, where when Jonathan Majors was dropped as Kang, people thought bring in Terrence Howard to play Kang, that'd be the ultimate troll.
Too soon, people.
That would
Too
be the
soon.
best. That would be
Too
the best. Yeah, but see, with Deadpool 3, this is the only superhero movie that I am approaching with a high degree of certainty that it's going to be very successful, because the Deadpool movies have always done well, number one. And number two, Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine.
It's a plus.
It's a huge plus. When you have all these different characters, this is more than the Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. This is more of a certainty, because here's the thing about Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. The Flash was still part of a franchise that was mismanaged, and people looked down on it. So that could explain why, besides the fact that it wasn't really a good movie. But my point is, there were more factors beyond the nostalgia. This, I think, the nostalgia could give it a high boost of doing really well. What do you guys think?
Jay, you go first.
For me, this could go either way, depending how much they really milk the nostalgia bait. If they're more subtle about it, and only like have Deadpool do like one or few fourth wall break lines, it's manageable, is what I'm saying. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman for the Flash was just a desperate ploy to get people in seats. I'm sorry, but the Flash.
Here's the thing. Hey, speaking on that, it doesn't work because he's like an 80-year-old man moving around like Batman, and I'm like, this is why you should have gone to Christian Bale first, because he would have. First off, I think he would have done it, and then it would have made more sense for him to be moving around like Batman.
And no one's a better filmmaker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Can you imagine? And Talati and I, this is a Flashpoint 2023 episode we did. Can you imagine a Christopher Nolan directed Flash movie that's kind of with the visual effects style of like Oppenheimer?
Now he could have pulled off. Now he could have done Flashpoint done right, but from a narrative perspective, you don't really need Eobard Thawne for Flashpoint. Hot take, I know. Because
to quote a certain internet celebrity, "How dare you?"
How did we get to this topic?
I don't know.
Might as well. We're here now. But yeah, because all Thawne is there is just to rub salt in the wound. Narratively, Barry learns his lesson regardless. It's a nice touch, but it's not narratively necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Transition!
Yeah, so the next one, this one, so let's transition a little bit to DC, to the only DC project coming out, and that's Creature Commandos. I can't believe I just said that. But, see, again...
Wait. There is one more.
What?
For DC.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about live... actually, this isn't live action anyway. Oh, yeah, Christ on Infinite Earth, the animated movie.
And Suicide Squad Isekai. That comes out at the very end of the year.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm looking forward to Crisis, even though it wasn't set up properly or anything like that, is that at least it's 1/3 of a movie, so it's not like they're going to cram the story. And it's ending this freaking universe.
Allegedly.
For good reason, too.
For a good reason, because not a lot of it was good. I'm sorry. I like the Superman movie, but beyond that, it just went downhill really fast. I will say though,
Wait,
yeah, go ahead.
only 3 films were good: Man of Tomorrow and the 2 Batman films, which was The Long Halloween Part 1 and
And
2.
that was a two-parter. Maybe you could say Beware My Power was decent. You know, you had the Hal Jordan Shire fan service in the DCAU.
Yeah,
But I was gonna say, there's also the Cape Crusader cartoon coming this year, isn't there?
I think that's standalone. I
Mhm.
want to say that's standalone.
Even though
And
that's
please,
standalone, we still got that coming too, isn't it? This
That's
year.
going to be really fun. I'm excited for that because they did outright say it's not going to be like Batman the Animated Series, so that's good because they're not doing another rehash of it because that would be annoying real fast. They're doing something
Amazon,
new.
I implore you, keep Paul D. Excuse me, I almost said the wrong person. Keep Bruce Timm in check. I beg of you.
Somebody clip that,
I only
please.
have one thing to say to that, Jay Heat.
Other breaking news. Water. Wet.
Somebody clip that, please, where Jay Heat messes up.
20 minutes and 13 seconds. There's your clip.
No, it's fine. He corrected himself before you said this person's full name. I won't count it. So yeah, I think that looks really fun, particularly when it's like recounting a younger Batman.
Is it year 2?
I think it's like year 2 or something like that. Which
Year 3.
Oh yeah, year 3, which is kind of funny considering we just had a Batman movie that was year 2. But all right. Beyond that, I mean, going to Creature Commandos, the thing about it is, I see. Here's the problem with the messaging of the DCU. James Gunn will go. This is the first show to come out of the DCU, but the start of the DCU is really Superman. Then why isn't Superman coming out first?
It's not like Creature Commandos is a prologue. It's just a standalone.
I mean, this is moronic.
I feel like he's trying to strike lightning in a bottle twice because he did boost up the James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy IP. Excuse me. God, 2 for 2. But even still, you had brand recognition from the MC in good merit with the MCU itself. You were able to get away with something like that.
Well, the other thing is that this is going to be a live-action TV show on Max. It's not going to be it's going to be an animated TV show on Max. It's not going to be a live-action movie, so you're already limiting your audience. Because I got news for you. The general audience doesn't care who James Gunn is. They're not going to watch something just because it's James Gunn. And
he doesn't have star power like that. He really does.
Here's the thing. You can say that you could say that that Peacemaker was a success. It wasn't, but okay. But the point is, take that and further limit the audience, because guess what? You're going from live action to animation, and the majority of the general audience still looks down on animation. I don't agree with it, but that's just the world we live in. So you're starting with an animated series. That's like saying Blue Beetle is the first character in your DCU. Oh, wait.
Now, Blue Beetle, again, poor marketing by all parties involved, but it was a pretty decent movie for what it was.
No, it was a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I liked Blue Beetle a lot. It's just James Gunn's attempt to co-opt it, and I'm like, if this movie doesn't do well financially, you are starting your universe with a bomb, because even if it's like not canon to your universe, if it's general enough that's not like connected, you're still in people's mind. Yeah, they're going to associate Blue Beetle with your universe with Blue Beetle's success, and that's a horrible idea, dude.
Here's what I would have done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Had the extended divisions like CW, Max, and animation departments take the majority of the 2024 slate, take the year off, and just start and kick off the DCU proper at 2025 with Superman Legacy. Maybe debut Creature Commando around the same time as supplementary, but not a big blockbuster event. But I would have taken 2024 off live action wise.
Well, the other thing I would have done is not announced in the beginning of 2023. Oh yeah, we're rebooting. None of this stuff matters.
I wouldn't have announced it till after maybe mid 2024.
You could say we're still formulating the slate of DC movies. Everything is very much in flux. That's what you could say, and say we haven't made any firm decisions on what you want to do. You could have even announced your slate and just said, here, we're doing Superman, Legacy. Don't give any plot ideas. Don't give any plot details. Just say we have a Superman movie, Supergirl, Green Lanterns, and whatever, and just go with that. And then guess what? Because people would have shown up because just by announcing stuff, they could have assumed, hey, if this stuff does well, maybe those characters can carry over.
But here's my problem. James Gunn hasn't even announced the game slate to go alongside.
Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem that he's going to run into when you say, oh yeah, games are going to tie in. What happens if the game is like massively delayed than the movie? Because guess what happens? So in 2020, when Falcon and the Winter Soldier were coming out, in like WandaVision, so do you know that Falcon the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out first?
Yeah.
And here's why I mentioned that. Because Marvel Comics wanted to release a comic to go along with Falcon and Winter Soldier, the show. The comic released when the show was supposed to, but you all of a sudden had a Falcon and Winter Soldier book releasing when WandaVision was premiering.
Synergy is one thing, but again, if you're trying to make a companion piece to your show, you better change the date in relation to the show. That way you can keep up synergy. I would have delayed the book wholesale, but that's just me.
The other problem is, here's why you can't tie in gaming beyond the fact that it's just a horrible idea and you're limiting the audience that are going to get these plot points. Because it's infinitely harder, if not impossible, to coordinate movies and gaming. Because here's the thing. What happens if you say he announced, like, say Superman Legacy was coming out in a few more years, and then he announced a Superman game that's going to release around the same time. Say that. What happens if they cancel the movie, or the game is delayed a year? Because that actually happens. It happened to Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad was supposed to come out last year, and it got delayed by a year.
Yeah,
and Gotham Knights didn't do it any favors.
And here's the thing.
No, but here's the thing. Gotham Knights was supposed to come out in 2021, and that got delayed by a year as well. So that was supposed to came out in 2022.
But here's the problem with James Gunn as the head of the DC. I get that he's excited for all the stuff he can do. I get it. I would be excited too. But he's promising stuff that he's not likely able to carry out on, i.e. the Ayer cut. But besides that, but my point is, he's saying, oh, we're going to tie in all these different things, movies and games. And I'm like, are you out of touch that you don't know that that's one of the reasons why people are checking out of the MCU? Because they don't want to have to watch or consume so much homework to understand what's going on.
Not to mention Flanderization.
Yeah, it's not going to go the way. That's why, again, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to be like this whole forced positivity around the DC fandom is annoying the hell out of me, because I get that no one wants to be a Debbie Downer, and we have had a rough years of being DC fans. The problem is when you're just going, oh, it's so good, this is going to be awesome. You are hyping yourself up for, let's be honest, inevitable failure, because this is Warner Brothers we are talking about. And yes, I will roll the clip in this case, because if ever there were a time for it to be appropriate, it is right now.
Yeah, second Warner Brothers.
What do you guys think? I'll start with Taladia.
I think James Gunn needs to focus on what he's doing. That's my take. And I would have announced the full thing. I wouldn't just do partial slate. I would say, look, we're going to do something big. We're going to be announcing a Superman game to go alongside Superman Legacy. And we're going to be doing a mobile game, but that's tied into Green Lantern, or you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna announce a slate, announce everything. Don't just partially announce it.
And the problem is, let's say he says, oh yeah, it was only gonna be mobile games. Well, then you're taking that already small amount of people that will see both and making it even smaller, because and Taladia, you're more connecting to the gaming world than I am.
Yeah.
How big is the mobile gaming population compared to the regular gaming?
Well, the mobile population is small, but it is gaining a little bit of popularity. Let's say like Marvel Snap, but that's pretty much it. But other than Marvel Snap, and everything else is pretty much small.
But I mean, yeah. What about you, Jay Heat? What do you think?
As for me, again, I believe the James Gunn the DCU announcement was around the same time as a fiscal investors call, if not shortly before it. So I feel like the whole thing was kind of a crapshoot to appease investors, and they didn't. But it was a pretty decent slate for what they were able to cook up in short notice. At least that's what I think. But
whether or not they can execute on that slate is another idea. Because remember the slate we had when Zack Snyder was in charge, and we all know how that turned out.
Again, studio interference, corporate greed, and Emmerich trying to cut his losses to procure a merger.
But you know what I'm really excited for? The next Warner Brothers investors call. Because I want to see how many people mention. Last time you said The Flash was the greatest DC movie you've ever seen and it's sure to be a hit. What happened? And I wonder if someone's going to mention you announced a reboot and the audience now doesn't care about these movies. What are you doing?
And here's the thing too, right? I'm gonna say this outright now. I think the next investors call is gonna basically be, as Jay Hugh would say, the utter piece of beep.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, there you go. Honestly, I think that could be I honestly think, because here's the other thing that happened this in 2023 that was interesting: the Coyote versus Acme movie. That was I believe it was a James Gunn written movie that got pulled and still hasn't released, but it got pulled by David Zaslav. Man, that was a Freudian slip. So what's interesting about that is that it shows that James Gunn is not as safe as he thinks he is. So methinks is if Zaslav is raked over the coals because of all the bad decisions that has happened with like the movies particularly. I'm not saying fire James Gunn is going to happen, but I'm saying it could. And let's be honest, it is David Zaslav we're talking about, so I wouldn't be surprised if Superman does not release.
There's also a huge factor of the alleged Paramount/Universal merger. Now, some notions have been debunked, but I would not be surprised if Zaslav spent this year, since it's relatively a year off on the business side, trying to see if he can garner a deal or try to sell it. I would not be surprised.
That's another thing. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about that because anyone that says it could happen says it could happen in 2024. So the merger. First off, if the merger happens, I've told people, then James Gunn, then say goodbye to the DCU because that ain't happening if the merger's happening. Because here's the way mergers work. The new management team comes in and replaces the old management team. It could be they don't care about DC, so that they're just gonna like
let it happen.
Tell him just go ahead and do what you want to do. But I think enough has happened where because you know it's interesting. A good portion of at least the Warner Brothers staff don't think James Gunn is cut out to be a studio executive.
No, he isn't.
Which is interesting. So I'm thinking if Universal feels the same way, again, they could say you can be on the creative team, but you're not going to lead the studio creatively. And then if they do that and they have to like redo everything, this is when I think sell to Netflix could happen. They'll be like, just do that while we figure this out. What do you think, Taladia?
I agree with you. Like I 100% agree with your statement because I don't see like here's the thing. WBD right now are in a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
They really are financially struggling in all formats, films, TV shows, animation, video games, right? And they think they know it all when they don't. That's the higher ups.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it like this, if they sell it to Universal Comcast, they'll make if they sell it to them, the financially they'll make their money back.
If they sell it, yeah. And plus, here's the thing about Universal. Universal actually, for the first time in like 15 years, Disney was not the big box office winner of the year. It was Universal. So imagine that. So they're in a fantastic financial situations. They could go, you know what? Let's do it. I would love to have DC, and we could get a DC park in Universal Orlando, and I am going. We are going to do it. That'd be so much fun. So what do you think, Jay Heat, in terms of like the merger?
Jay Heat?
Are you there?
I think you have to step
Hello?
away. Yeah.
Jay
No,
Heat,
I'm right here.
what do you think of the merger?
If it does happen, then it'll either be reworked or it'll be delayed. I do not see them dropping it off because the DCU is an upcoming project. This will be the first breakout since the merger, and both Paramount and Warner Brothers, to an extent, are in the hole. Granted, one is about as bad as the other, but this is potentially a big project and a clean slate for the DC brand. So I believe that now that the full slate has been announced, and depending how far along Superman
Full slate has
Legacy
not
is,
been announced, though.
I just feel like with Creature Commandos alone, you can make the argument that the planning stage is too far along to just cut it wholesale. Or if you do, you would need to find something to replace it.
What they could probably do, and I've seen a bunch of scoopers indicate that they want to go in this direction, just solo movies. Just do solo DC movies like DC used to do with the Nolan Batman movies. Don't do a connected universe anymore. Because that way, you could still release Superman. You could still release these projects. Just take out all of the connective tissue and make like Paradise Lost, a Wonder Woman movie. Just make Green Lantern its own thing. And don't worry about connecting them. Now, if one is popular, you can do a sequel to it, obviously, but don't necessarily do a shared universe. And honestly, that's where I think they should go, because the audience is checked out of shared universes now because of the way the MCU and the DCEU have like dropped the ball. What do you think, Taladia?
I agree with you. Like, don't drop the ball at this point, right?
Yeah, because DC cannot afford to have another failure.
No. And if, for example, if Joker 2 fails, then you know something is wrong, right?
Right.
Yeah, if Joker 2 fails. I don't think that's another one. That's another one that we should talk about. The thing about it, I'm not sure. I don't think that one's going to fail because Joker 1 was not a superhero movie.
No.
In no way was it a superhero movie. So I think it has that going for it now. Because if there is supposed superhero fatigue, everyone's just going to go, okay, this was just a fun movie that fun is an operative term. This is just a movie that I saw last time.
I do. While I do concur with the argument that solo projects would be a breath of fresh air, they still don't garner or guarantee any long-term investment with fans, and you kind of need that to build the IP back up. So although I could make an objective argument that the DCU could be salvageable if restructured, I just feel like they need to delay the DCU by another 5-6 years and just have solo projects to build goodwill. That would, at least in my mind,
do
be
that. That's an excellent idea. Delay the shared universe and really work this out. See what works. Just do solo movies, because really, I think that at this point, they should give DC a 5-year break. Just say, nope, we're not coming out with any shared universes for 5 years. James Gunn can be involved in it, but he's not going to lead it. And then we're just going to do other stuff. But here's the thing. If they want to do other stuff to like gain fan, like investment in, they could say, okay, Zach, you want to complete your story? Hey, David, you want to release your cut of Suicide Squad? Because that would be a hell of a way. That'd be a hell of an olive branch to the fans to show because here's the thing. What Warner Brothers has learned is that the Snyder fandom is nothing if not persistent, and you're never. Here's the thing: unless DC does it, they're never going to escape from those calls. I got news for you: it ain't happening. No matter how many times you call to move on, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's just my opinion. So we talked about DC. We talked a lot about the movies, by the way. I want to conclude a little bit with the comics because so far we don't know a lot about what's going on in the comics, but there is indications that we're going to get an indicator of what the main threat of the Dawn of DC is, and that Bride of Brainiac, I think it's called, which
Brainiac
that
Queen.
actually could look really cool.
You got Brainiac Queen, Amanda Waller, and now Zuranar in the form of the failsafe bat android.
That was cool. I did not see that coming, and I'm like, okay, that's a cool way to do Zuranar. That's dope. The one thing that I'm wondering, see, the thing about, I think there's too many villains being set up. Just pick one. Just pick
Because
one.
you have Waller in connection to the light, and you have a little bit of Cadmus sprinkling in with the government conspiring against the superhero community. Then you have the Justice League disbanding with the Titans being the new vanguard. You're trying to do like 2-3 story arcs all in one.
Not only that, we're dealing with the Sovereign in Tom King's Wonder Woman book, which I'm starting to see the cracks in it, because when you think about it, my problem with the Sovereign is that when Tom King came on the book, he dropped in, oh, this is going to be Wonder Woman's Joker. Don't tell me to care about the character. Let me do that myself. This is my problem with a lot of creatives. They're like, oh, you have to like this character. This is going to be this character's main nemesis. No. That's not the way it works.
And spoilers for Tom King's Wonder Woman run. If you've actually watched that JLU episode where that rogue man-hating Amazon pretty much tries to unleash a plague on the world, congratulations. You basically seen that episode in comic book form.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. Although we haven't gotten any, have we? Here's the thing: have we seen Emily at all throughout the other issues?
Only issues 1 through 3. With issue 3 revealing, spoilers by the way, that she was pregnant while she's rampaging across the U.S.
But here's the thing: if she's like the catalyst of this, should we see her more than shouldn't we at least see her more?
We do get a flashback sequence during Diana's trial. God, that's poor choice of words. During the trial to who is going to be the next Wonder Woman and go to Man's World, where Emily gave Diana a run for her money, and Diana ultimately won because Emily underestimated her. Let's be honest. But so even if the interconnected tissue is there, and you do have the backup stories where Trinity is already born, I still say DC ripped us off on that. But
big surprise.
But even so, even if you did now, granted, we have not gotten the conclusion yet. It's probably going to be another 2 to 3 issues going by Tom King's writing style. But ultimately, I just don't see Tom King making the landing here. He's kind of all over the place here, because you have this rogue Amazon, then you're building up Amazon's attack in the background with the Amazons going through political scrutiny, and now you have this.
Did you just reference Amazon's attack? That silence is all I need. But let's transition to a little more positive talk about the comic. So, have you guys been reading Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern?
Nope.
Read it. It is incredible. One of the most fantastic books coming out, because they have this mystery of Earth being quarantined by the Green Lantern Corps, and the whole thing is like, why did everything get to this point? And then the I'm not going to spoil it, but in this most recent issue, they kind of give you a hint at what happened, so that's fun. So what do you guys so I gotta ask this: Jason Aaron being on Action Comics, this could either go really good or extremely bad. Really bad. He's off to a good start with his Batman stuff, so at least there. And by the way, Jahid, thanks for coming on, man.
Excelsior.
All right, so Taladia, so let me ask you this: you've been reading Superman, right?
Yeah, I've been reading Superman and World's Finest. That's what I've been reading.
Have you been enjoying Superman?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. I think it's my problem with it, and I've said this on the show, that why are there like 10 Kryptonians in a city and they really expect me to believe normal humans going to commit a crime? I don't understand this. But it's like I'm just like, this is odd. But besides that, it's actually I'm enjoying the story with like all the with like the anti-Kryptonians on Earth, and the the super twins, who are obviously just them wanting to have young John without having young John. It couldn't be more obvious with that. But with that, Batman is actually trying to build back some cachet after the travesty that was Gotham War. So I'm like, okay, there you go. But there's still a lot of damage done. At least I have Ram V on Detective. That's good. But what was the other book you said you were reading?
World's Finest, Superman and Batman.
How was that?
So good. It's such a good comic.
Really?
Yeah,
I've heard great things about it.
So basically, it's where Batman and Superman are. It's in their early years. Not in the current state. So they go traveling the multiverse. And which Earth do they land on?
22.
Yeah, what Earth is that?
Kingdom Come Earth, baby. I'm like, that is cool. When I heard that, I was like, okay, that's cool. That is really, really cool.
So imagine the events of Kingdom Come never happening.
Wait, I thought they go to the Kingdom Come Earth in the past.
No. I think so, yeah, but...
Yeah, they go in the... I don't think they do anything that makes it so it didn't happen, though. Do they?
I'm trying to remember,
I'll ask Britt, but because she's like really tied in with this, but I doubt they would do that, because I doubt they would disrespect one of their most iconic storylines. It wouldn't make financial sense to them, which then again, financial sense and DC don't go hand in hand. So that is an issue there. But it's strange, but I'm glad at least we have a few books that are really good at DC.
Yeah, at least we have some of that.
Wonder Woman is just it's getting to the point where I'm becoming a little bit disheartened with Tom King. But again, it's Tom King.
Yeah. So,
but in terms of the MCU stuff, is there anything? We already talked about Marvel movies, but in terms of Marvel comics, there's not a lot I'm excited for, because I'm not as big of a Marvel comics reader. I mean, so far my pull list is just Cap, Iron Man, and Avengers. That's it. Those are the only ones that I've enjoyed, because I put Punisher on my list, and then they killed off Frank Castle, so I'm like, no. And X-Men, I'm sorry, what?
They killed off Frank Castle.
Know what they did, because some people in the real world it did a bunch of political stuff wearing Frank Castle's suit. What they did is they took away the logo, and then what they did in the story, what Jason Aaron did, this is why everyone's really trepidatious about Jason Aaron being on Action Comics, is he made it so when Frank Castle was a kid, he was already a psychopathic serial killer, and his wife was going to leave him before they were blown up.
Wow.
So they want to do a big character assassination on Frank, which is just so stupid. And the X-Men, I don't want to read X-Men on an orgy island. I'm sorry, that's just not my type of thing. But that's really in terms of the comics I'm enjoying. Transformers and G.I. Joe are really good, by the way. You got to check out Transformers.
I'll try and check out Transformers when I get time.
Yeah, it's by Daniel Warren Johnson. It is so good, because they're bringing Transformers and G.I. Joe into one continuity.
One universe, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's one of those indie series where I'm so happy I put on my pull list, because it's so good. Because so far I have that and Duke, the first G.I. Joe book to carry on. So I'm looking forward to adding the others. Okay. And then we have the Ghost Machine comics by all the guys that left DC, like Jeff Johns, Fabok, Manipul, yes, Tomasi, which obviously I'm gonna add those. I already have Geiger.
Why do you say that name?
Don't play.
No, don't play.
Yeah, I could get copyright. But the point is, I have Geiger as the first one. I'm gonna add the Fabok book. I'm probably just gonna go down the list and add all of those, because I really, really, really like all those creators. I like some of what Tomasi does. But some of it, as long as it doesn't involve Superman or Wonder Woman, I like it.
Yeah.
That's just
for,
me. That's just me.
for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
And
for
Tevye,
obvious reasons.
and
It's not like I
Tevye,
have a graded copy of one of the books. But so I think
and,
that's a
and,
good place. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
and Tevye, if you're watching this later, just know that Jared is being sincere about this,
Yes,
right?
I am. I am. But all right. So I think it's a good place to leave it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what projects that are coming out in 2024 you're excited for, because we'd love to hear from you. So Taladia, where can one find you, and what have you got coming out on your channel?
So you guys can find me on Twitter at Taladia Plays _ and you guys can also find me on YouTube at Taladia Plays. I have got um the what's it called, the Snyder Fans Read Comics with Jared and Jay, as we cover the New 52 Justice League run. And so far, we've done issue 4, so we're on issue 5 next week. And then Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League content will be ramping up more content leading up to release. So we will be doing some, news on that, and there will be a members only panel coming January 16th, meaning that members that are on my channel will be able to participate in the panel. And we talk about anything from DC, Marvel, horror, sci fi, anything really. And we just chill and relax, have a fun time.
Cool. In terms of me, next Thursday is my members only live stream, so I'm really excited for that. We're just going to hang out and talk about 2024 and probably some stuff we're excited for. And in terms of Comics League Dark is tomorrow. We will be doing CLD, and we're just going to talk about random news stuff. Movie night, we're talking about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, and then Super Wonder Legacy is going to be talking about the animated history of Superman and Wonder Woman. And then in terms of my next comic talk, I will be going into a little more detail on Tom King's Wonder Woman to like bring up what I like about the series, what I don't like about the series, and it'll be fun on that. So anyway, stay heroic, everyone, and remember, for all time, Lois Lane sucks.